Oh, and I never realized you had such a growth spurt. When was this movie filmed?
It was filmed like 2 years ago.
So here's the easy question. I guess it's the initial question for anybody, but what's the initial attraction to do a film like Team Marco?
Tony, do you want to go first?
Sure. I think the attraction for me was to bring the generations together. Just kind of a little fable, you know, or it's not really a fable, it's actually true, that I think there's quite a gap these days, you know, a technology gap. And I feel as though this is a movie that is good for both teams, let's say, the young and the older, to kind of come together and maybe put our phones down for lunch for a minute and communicate one-on-one, and have some communication and fun that way. That was I think the takeaway from the movie is come together.
Mm-hmm.
What about for you, Owen?
I think what made me want to do it especially is because I could totally relate to the character, and I loved the script, and my grandparents are the exact same way. So it made me, you know, it was very great at putting into words how it, you know, this relationship between older people and people of my generation.
For you, Tony, did you relate to your character? Are you anywhere near your character at all?
Probably not. If I'm going to be honest about it, I think I'm a little more in tune, you know, with the real sort of world, and I do know how to actually navigate a computer, where I think my character, you know, doesn't, and I know how to speak to Alexa, and you know, navigate a cell phone, whereas my character's pretty dense when it comes to technology.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking via Zoom right now. I mean, it took me weeks to figure out how to work this thing together. Owen, are you a tech genius yourself, like your character?
I don't think I would go as far as saying tech genius, but I'm definitely on my technology a lot. Probably more than I should. Watching TV and movies, playing some video games with my friends.
Now, the one thing that I liked about both of you is that you guys created this chemistry, this synergy together. Did you basically hung out beforehand, before production, to create that chemistry and synergy before, you know, everything started?
I'll answer that first. I met Owen about 5 minutes before we sat down for our first shot.
Yep.
And I'm going to confess, even in front of the young man, that I was kind of scared, because Owen, you know, Owen actually at that point, I think, had quite a bit more experience than me in sort of shooting motion pictures. I had done a lot of television, this and that. This was my first lead in a feature film. And I know Owen he had just come off of a film with Kate Blanchett and Jack Black. And I'm sitting down with him for the very first time, and I'm thinking, man, I got to be on my game. And I'll tell you, it really turned out that way, because I learned a lot from Owen in the first hour of shooting. And so thanks, Owen.
Thank you. That was nice.
It's true.
I was nervous too, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a roll of the dice meeting castmates, because you're going to be with them for so long. But I think we all got very lucky with who we got with.
We did. I enjoyed having you as my grandson.
I did too.
I really did.
Well, it seems like Tony learned a lot from you, Owen. Did you learn anything from Tony?
Yeah, definitely. You know what I especially learned from Tony was Italian, because he would be learning it on set in between scenes during lunch even. He would be like going off in Italian, learning like all of his lines. And it was crazy. I thought he actually spoke Italian.
Oh, Tony, you don't speak Italian?
Do you speak Italian?
No, Italiano. No, I don't. I know. I hate to admit that. Just like I guess I probably shouldn't admit that I'm actually Greek.
Excellent. Well, the wonderful thing about this movie, it's a film about bocce ball. And because it is a film about bocce ball, now I can definitely say I've seen movies about everything. So what did you both gentlemen knew about bocce ball before going into the production, and how much practice did you have for this?
I've heard about it, but I definitely had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even know the rules. But I learned, and I'd say we became pretty good at it. But I have sort of lost my ability. Now I play with my family outside in the turf in our backyard. I'm not as good at it as I was, but I think I'm still pretty good. It's really fun. It's very, very, very fun.
Wow, good for you. You have a bocce court now. My only exposure to the game was in Central Park, where they have a wonderful bocce court, and I spent a lot of time just watching the older Italian gentlemen playing bocce ball there. And aside from that, my only exposure was now this ball that Owen Vaccaro gave me as a away gift on the last day of shooting.
Wow, Owen, that's so nice that you got him a gift like that.
Yeah.
He did. It was, yep.
So did you two officially try to play a game against each other, and who was better at bocce?
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever did. You were probably better though, because you had more bocce scenes.
I think
I don't know. No, we never played. We never formally played a game together. I think there just wasn't enough time. And also, it should be mentioned that the entire time that we were filming, the weather was about 100 degrees, literally. So when those shots were over, we would run to our tents. It wasn't trailers.
Yeah, tents, and we had a little handheld band.
And just to dry off. So that's how the whole shoot was. Extremely hot.
Wow, where was this at? I mean, 100 degrees?
Literally. Am I lying, Owen?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, it was in Staten Island, the entire shot. It just happened to be a heat wave, and it lasted for the entire month of June or July, or whenever we shot it. Yeah.
So what was the best glorious scene that you guys did together that you found the most enjoyment?
I think my favorite was the one at the dinner table when we all got in the big fight. That was definitely my favorite, because the amount of times that we messed up with laughing, it's so many times. But that was definitely my favorite. That one, or the hospital scene, just because it was very, it felt really real.
My favorite scene, I think, the scene where I take all of your technology away from you and lock it in a trunk.
Right.
When we storm into the garage, and I go off on you. I think that was my favorite scene.
That one was funny.
I cringed during that scene because you just threw it in the trunk, and I was afraid you were going to break something.
Oh yeah. I'm sure we broke some of the fake. Yeah.
Was there a lot of improv through this film? Because it looks like both of you had a lot of fun.
I wouldn't say there's as much improv, but we definitely try to make each take for the shots different. I think that's one thing that we strive for, is to do it different every single time, just that the editors had a lot more to work with.
Yeah, and Giulio did a really neat thing for both of us. He was a wonderful director, and what he asked us to do on our very last shot, he just said, I'd like you to follow my direction, and I'd like you to use my dialogue, but on every shot, we're going to give you a chance at the end to do whatever you want. And we did. And I don't really know how much of that he used, but probably none of it. But he did give us that opportunity to do what we wanted, and even go off script if we wanted.
Yeah.
Well, I know Owen just indicated about he loved the ending. Tony, what did you think about the ending of this film? Because it's far different from what a lot of people would probably expect.
Yeah, well, I don't want to, give away the actual ending. So I don't know if this will air to anyone before the movie opens, but I liked the ending. I thought the ending was extremely appropriate without telling you what that ending was, because I like the idea of paying it forward.
Me too.
That is actually excellent. So for the both of you, I know it's kind of crazy, but what's next for both of you?
I just did a movie in Hawaii, and it should be coming out sometime next year. So that's really exciting.
I am in the process of finishing up developing a television series that we are now ready to present, pitching to all of the streaming networks. And I hope that it will be on your television sets in about a year from now, and it's called Hooked.
Excellent. Well, let me leave with one more thought here, because we're living in crazy times right now, and I don't know where you're actually at, but for the past few weeks and months, how are you two keeping, creative and sane during times like this?
I've been watching a lot of TV and reading a lot of books. That's what I've been doing. And school. I just started high school, so that's been keeping me pretty busy.
Wow.
So as I mentioned, I'm developing a television series. So this past 6 months, believe me, not that I'm glad we are in the midst of a pandemic, but it worked for me only in the sense that I had nothing else to do but write. And so I've been writing and writing and writing. And then when I'm finished with that late at night, I've been enjoying consuming Netflix and HBO projects, that I always wanted to get into. And now I'm kind of run out of them.
You've seen everything.